Yep. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Twist Johnson. So grab your substance or your drinks, or stay sober-minded, if you will. With that being said, let's start the show. But if you're feeling my vibe, like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on all handles that will be left down in the description below. And before we get into this young man with me, you know what I like to do, the current events that nobody asked for. Followers, today we got a book from Jay Pathak and Dave Ranyan, and it's forward by Randy Flores, and it's called The Art of Neighboring, Building Genuine Relationships Right Outside Your Next Door. Here's how the book looks. And what it talks about is it's a religious book. It talks about Jesus a little bit and what if Jesus meant people to love their neighbor and like what it's like to actually love your brothers, your sisters, your friends, strangers that you don't know, acts of kindness, affirmations, looking out for homeless people or people that a little bit more less fortunate. So it tells you in depth the acts of kindness that you can provide for the people outside of the world. It just sharing a little bit. It says building relationships with our neighbors leads to better communications, better cities, and ultimately a better world. I encourage you to read this book to step outside of your front door and start making a difference. This quote was from Ken Blanchard, and he's the author of One Minute Manager, Led Like Jesus book. So, if you into the religion, you want to know how to make the world a better place, The Art of Neighboring, you can find it at bakerbooks.com, Barnes& and Nobles, or Amazon. Now, let's get into my brother in the camera with me. Brother, say where you from, who you are, and a little bit about yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm S7 Zeus. I was born in Haverhill, Massachusetts, which is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how fast you drive north of Boston. I was raised in Sacramento, California. Oh, I'm on the wrong porch. I was raised in
It's okay.
Sacramento, California. I'm a music artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a revolutionary, and I'm here to work. What's up?
Amen. Amen. Welcome to the show. So we're gonna do a pour out, pour up before we jump into the interview and more. So who you want to pour out for? Who you want to pour up for?
I want to pour up for my father, Omega Red. My father, Omega Red. He had a brain tumor. He's the one that got me involved in music. He's my inspiration. We'll get into a little bit of that later on about how he bred me into music. But my father, Omega, um, man, he's not gone, but he have a brain tumor, and he's been in mental rehabilitation for the last 5 years. But him and I had just been able to begin to talk to each other once again because it took him a while to remember who I was after the brain surgeries.
All right. Let's pour up for brother right now. It's for you, Pops. All right. Let's jump into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your ears glued, have a seat. We're gonna jump into it. So I had the pleasure of screening your music. I got some of my favorites. You got from the EP Apply Pressure. I enjoyed the Wild Card, and it's up, unlocked, and unlocked potential. The bonus track, Extraterrestrial Love. That was my shit. I was definitely feeling that. And from the EP Every Man for Himself, I enjoyed the Big Motion. We're rapping to that a little bit more, but like let's just get into like you say your pops. But what age did you start becoming a musician? When did you
Scholar of
realize
music.
that?
Yeah, scholar of music, because that's really what I am. I'm a scholar of hip hop.
Okay.
Being born in '91, I came to fall in love with hip hop around like '94, '95. I believe in '94. Nas dropped Illmatic, and that's the album right there that me and my father. He came home one night and woke me up and was like, "Yo, Nas just dropped." He used to always talk
Alright.
to me about Nas, and me and him stayed up all morning from 3 o'clock in the morning till whenever the album to whenever we was done listening to the Illmatic album. And
Mm-hmm.
that moment I knew right there what I wanted to do growing up, going forward. I want to be a rap. I want to be a hip hop artist. I fell in
Amen.
love
But
with hip
yeah,
hop.
like Nas is one of my inspirations as well. Like the Godson, like he always makes some impactful music. Even when him and Jay Z was going at it, I was feeling that too. Like way
Loved
before
it.
Ether, I was down with Nas. Have you like what? What inspires the names for your projects? How do you come up with the titles?
Really, I always felt like titles to projects to me should be messages that I'm trying to send.
Mhm.
So overall, when I think about titles to my projects, like the overall projects, I try to have some type of message in there. So it's up. That's something that we
Okay.
do on the streets. You feel me? And I want from there, I want to take something that's like not cool or what people take to sound cool. It's up like that. That's normally beef, right? When somebody say it's up out here, that means it's lit. We got smoke. We got beef.
Mhm.
Um, I made it mean it's unlocked potential. So a big part of me is about taking what's not cool at all and giving cool its definition back. So that's like one of the ways that I do that right there.
Right.
And taking something that's negative and putting a positive twist on it. Same thing with my Every Man for Himself EP that I recorded that project around a specific time in my life, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's where I had to put my negative energy in a positive place.
Mhm.
So a lot of that is going on with my music. It's been rough recording projects, going up and down with my freedom, with family matters and all of that. It takes time. So I feel like I put a little bit of me and my messages inside my lyrics, my titles, inside my everything. So you got Every Man for Himself EP, you got It's Up, you got I think I got two Every Man for Himself EPs to be real with you,
Okay.
right? And then I also have one on Spotify. I used to go by a different artist name called Natural Pharaoh. I got one on Spotify called Red Money. And
Mhm.
that time it was about everything was just red. I just dyed my hair red. I'm a Paru blood from Sacramento, California. That's neither here or there. I'm an individual. I'm a father. I'm a music artist. But
Amen.
everything was red. So that was me just setting my presence when I first came here to Boston, Massachusetts, because I'm not in Sacramento right now. So when I came here from Sacramento, California, I wanted everybody to know, yeah, I'm on the red team. You know, saying
Mhm.
red money, things like that. So I feel like it's just sending a message, just
Mhm.
sending a message.
Let's talk about stages. What stages have you had? What are the anxieties of being on stage and getting your message across? Like the feeling of people just quoting your bars in your lyrics. Like, what's the feeling about it?
Being an up and coming artist, I feel established in what I do because I've been doing it for a while. Being an up and coming artist, some of the things that I went through feeling was when the beginning of my song start, nobody knows who I am. How do I leave my mark on this stage that by the time I get off the stage, people is at least singing my chorus or bopping with me at some
Mm,
part of the song. I always felt confident going on stage and going into that arena because to me that's where it all pays off. I got my anxiety all the way up until the point where they call me to the stage.
mm,
It's like
mm.
the wall
Right.
and I can't breathe. But then when they call me to that stage, that's for me. That's the moment where that's what I did it all for. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
everything in my life. Went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Broke up my girl. Went through the harshest. Da da da. When I hit the stage, I'm leaving it all on the stage. I
Right.
not hitting the stage for me for a certain amount of time, depending on what I'm going through in my life, is like it's therapeutic. So to me, the anxieties come from not hitting the stage. But behind the scenes, I'm always practicing. I'm practicing in my sleep. I'm practicing in the bathroom. I'm practicing walking down the street. I'm practicing in the car, waiting for the train. I'm practicing every breath that I take. So I stay ready and prepared for certain moments.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only but so much you're gonna be prepared. So the anxiety for me is all the way up until the point where they call me to the stage.
Amen. Let me ask. Biggie Smalls,
Mm-hmm.
Prince Montana,
Mm-hmm.
Jim Jones. These legends, they have said at a point in time in an interview. Most recently, Jim Jones said it inside Drink Champs that rapping is a dangerous job. Do you agree with this statement?
I do. Rapping nowadays ain't acting
Right.
like how it used to be. I feel like the first generation of rappers wasn't acting either, right? Like Curtis Blow, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Fat Boys, all of them. Like when hip hop came together, it was one consciousness collecting itself, coming together. Right? We stood for something. Unity, community, freedom, justice, love, peace. Right? Sometimes over the year, we got a little bit too comfortable with making that money and accepting that money. And now the next generation of rappers that came after that, to me, was actors. Because this is where you get your Baby Boy, Tyrese, and all of these people, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
all through the 90s, like I tell people right now, my whole life growing up, I ain't never seen nothing until I started getting older. Like I'm in my 30s now, right? I never seen on TV or any movie any positive role of a black male.
Mm.
It was all males with tank tops, rags on their head, do rags, beating they women, boys in the hood, pay.
Right.
Like we didn't have no representation of. But when you look at who was playing all of these roles, these are these rapping ass niggas that was really acting. And you look at who
Mm-hmm.
they are today. Them is the same niggas that's being exposed with the Freako Act, right? But
Right.
you couldn't get a King Von to do none of that. You can't get a King Von to do. Rest in peace to Von. You know what I'm saying? My generation, we ain't going for none of that. You're not. No, no. Your whole
Mm-hmm.
office going to end up shot up. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going for none of that.
Facts.
We ain't acting.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't actors.
Right. Like I feel like just hearing that statement, I feel like for rappers, depending on what image, even if it's a positive image or not, the thing about it is being an artist, you putting yourself out there in front of the world. So
Everybody's
by
gonna hate you.
technicality,
Everybody's gonna love you, or everybody's
right.
gonna hate you.
And by technicality, you're gonna wind up with oppositions that you don't even know because everyone knows you, but you don't know them. So you could be going to another state just to be performing, and next thing you know, people want to touch your temperature and see if you about what you say in your lyrics.
Lyrics. Now
So I definitely feel like it's definitely a dangerous job.
I went through that moving here to Boston. See, a person doesn't need to become. See, and this is where it gets crazy at too. Because if you really
Mm.
got talent and you really can
Yeah,
spit that shit, people want to know if you really live in that shit. It don't matter where you at. It don't matter if you famous or not.
right.
When I first moved here to Boston from Sacramento, California, at first niggas like, let me hear what you got. Then they seen how I was coming. I'm talking about how I'm spinning, doing this, doing it, whatever. Eventually, it ain't no winging it. I don't know if the world know about Boston, Dorchester, Mattapan, Roxbury, Jamaica. It ain't no walk in the park here. Go
Mm.
study RSO. Go study, you know what I'm saying, Made Men. Go study Bobby Brown, like Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan. It ain't no walk in the park here. You ain't just finna jump off the porch, rap all this gangster shit here, and ain't nobody. You will not hit the stage. This ain't even like one of them states where we really popping yet. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta, like New
Mm-hmm.
York, we still trying to get it together. So it's a fight for the top. It's dog eat dog. Like it's a bottleneck to the top right now. So
Mm.
only the strong gonna survive. I've been here 10 years from Sacramento, California, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here. I promoted shows here. I've helped artists. I've made beats for artists. You know what I'm saying? I do graphic design, all different type of things that kept me here. Because yeah, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. One of the first things people used to tell me was, "Yo, hurry! You need to hurry up and get on, hurry up and blow." Because here in Boston, niggas gonna try to take you out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because your talent alone. Because motherfuckers was born and raised here. You know, they spent their whole life being gangster and doing all of this and just to make it because they want the validation from everybody else and
Mm.
they ain't made it yet. So when they see someone else come from somewhere else and start really making an impact, the only thing they know in their mind is, nah, we can't allow him to blow because we need to be responsible for our section blowing up.
Right. Facts. Facts. I think every state has that. It's like if you're not originated from there and you're a representation, as long as you repping, they're gonna protect the bag.
Right.
However,
They
if you
can't take
taking
nothing from
off,
me. They can't take nothing from me here because
right.
my father's from Dorchester. You know what I'm saying? Me and
Mhm.
him was on the phone back and forth for months. Me, him, and different artists. My father had the studio in his house. Everybody used to go sit on his couch. He used to make them beats. So when I
Mhm.
got on the plane and came here, I had met many individuals. I inherited the music game. You know what I'm saying? So, and then now I'm just my father's son. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And can't nobody take that from me because they know I got New England roots. I'm not. I need to spin the globe and just land here.
Right. Let's talk a little bit more in depth, like behind the music. Every artist, they have a life once the
Right,
cameras is off.
right.
You share with me some vulnerable information. I hope we could talk about it on the air because the world needs to know what the pain of the artist, what the words are meaning. You were telling me a little bit about your mom. Can you tell us a little bit more about that
Yes, sir.
and how that impacted you?
Um, my mother, she's a great woman. For as long as I can remember, like in high school and for the rest of my life, my mother's been traveling the country trying to dedicate her life to helping young black women who lack knowledge of self and who come from broken backgrounds learn who they are in God, and learn their purpose because she come from that. So she's been traveling and she just landed back here last year in Massachusetts where we were born. She
Mm-hmm.
went to go see her sister, which is my godmother, who I was raised to know as my godmother my whole life. So her kids and all of us, we grew up all together, right, in the same house. I consider them her daughters are my sisters. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? My mom, I my little cousin has been having problems with his mother over the last years as he getting bigger now. He's 22 years old, about taking out the garbage, washing the dishes, cleaning up behind himself, paying a little rent, taking care of responsibilities, priorities, and being a man around the house.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to take care of those responsibilities and priorities. So he he decides that he wants to kill his mother. Talks to his girlfriend. She lives in New Hampshire. Out here to have to get a gun, all you need is a New Hampshire address. So the girlfriend purchased the gun. He brought it back down here, and I guess one night was in the house with just his mother and just my mother, and they had got into an argument. And the result, he shot his own mother 4 times and he shot my mother 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, as a son, as a quote unquote street nigga, you know what I'm saying? As a son, and I'm like my mother's only son that's really in the streets. My older brothers is military and they in school and college, and you know what I'm saying, they live in a very different life. That broke me. That broke me. Getting that call saying your mom just got shot 4 times, da 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 da, and she's in the next city over. I'm trying to figure out how I can wish to her and everything. Boom, boom. When I got to the hospital and she finally came to and told me how the whole situation went down, dude shot her and took away her cell phone and threw it across the floor so she couldn't call nobody. But thank God, my while he was shooting my mother, my godmother was running and calling the police. The police happened to be driving by the house, got the call, turned inside to their cul-de-sac, which is a dead end. By the time they got there, he had ran to his room to go get another clip, came back, and they had found him about to finish them, basically. He survived himself. That left my mother with the medical issues of, because he shot her point blank range in her stomach and in both of her legs. Now, well, thank God, just 2 days ago, she just had her intestines reversed because for the last year, she had the colostomy bag. The bullets got stuck in her. So for the 10 months of the bullets being stuck in her, caused her lead poisoning. Now the lead poisoning went to her brain. It's causing her eyesight to go out, her hearing to go out, and her memory to be short. Her legs both had to be reconstructed with all metals, metal
Mm-hmm.
kneecap, metal rods, everything. His mother, when he shot her in the back, since she's heavy set, she fell. When she fell, her rib broke and punctured her liver. And then he also shot her in the stomach and in both of her legs as well. So she shares the same wounds as my mother. The shooter, my little cousin, because he didn't kill them, they only gave him 15 years. And for the girlfriend, they only gave her 2 years because they proved that the girlfriend had knowledge that this is what he wanted to do, basically. Ever since this happened, bro, for me, my purpose is clear as far as music. When this happened, I didn't know what to do. The only thing I did know to do was to go to the studio because there was nothing I could do. I went to the hospital to go see my mother. They wouldn't allow me to see her for the first couple days because it was a family issue. They didn't know who was who. They didn't know if somebody was coming up there to retaliate. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to let nobody see the two, my mother and my godmother, because they're like, we
Hmm.
don't know who's who.
Right.
You feel me? So I stayed away for like 3 days, and then I went back, and then I got to talk to my peoples. Um, so first it sent me into a rage. At this point in time, I'm on a run. I'm on a run for 9 months. My mom got shot. I'm showing up at the hospital. The police is at the hospital. The shooter, my little cousin, is going to court. I'm showing up at the court. It's being covered nationwide. The news is all outside the court and everything. I'm on the news, you know what I'm saying, with my shiesty on. But
Right.
the detectives keep on telling me like, yo, Antwan, we know you going through this, Antwan. We know you
Yes.
going through this, but you gotta turn yourself in. There's like, if we arrest you, then it's gonna be worse for you. You know what I'm saying? So we're
Hmm.
trying to give you an opportunity to just turn yourself in. So now I'm looking at time. I had turned myself in because I promised them I'll turn myself in. My mom's in the hospital healing, and then my baby mother called my brother and tell my brother that she pregnant now with my son. So I'm like, so now I'm in a cell. I'm praying that every God I know. You hear me? Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I'm calling all the God.
Shit, my nigga.
I'm trying to find a way out. Hey yo, fam.
Right.
Hey yo, fam. One night I'm sitting there and God tells me what you gotta do is you gotta get out, get free, get yourself right, and go visit your cousin and offer him salvation. I'm like, what? That's what I hear, clear as day in my head. You gotta get out, you gotta get yourself together, and you gotta go to the jail and offer your cousin salvation. He sealed his deal here in this world, but the afterlife is something different. But I feel like that's my test. But it gave me purpose though, because ever since then, I used to sell drugs and trap and all of that stuff. I just stopped because I seen I got to be here for my family, for my daughter, for my baby mother, for my sisters, my kids. Like, and it just came clear as day. I wouldn't want to looking in my mother's eyes or my godmother's eyes, seeing them in medical induced coma and seeing them in that condition and things like that. It's easy to walk around here and rap about how you gonna kill somebody and do this such a. It's easy to beat up people and cause harm to other people, but when you on the other side of that gun, when you on the other side of that trauma of that violence, that's not easy to deal with. You know what I'm saying? That's not easy to deal with. I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Nobody.
Keeping it a stack, not even my worst enemy. You feel me? So it makes me just think about me, the words that I put on papers when I'm writing, what messages I'm sending out there, what am I showing my daughter and my kids. It makes me concerned about the young men next to me when I'm out in the streets and their mental health. It makes me concerned about the future.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My daughter's 6, my son is 3 months. How can I make what I do today make a positive effect in their future? What if I'm not here for their future?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Um. That's like. Let me get into that music part. You said something very important. The music that you make. Every artist, the music that they make, has an influence on the youth, on the people behind us. Tying into like youngins, we mimic what we see. If we idolize, this is what we're gonna do. What is the message that you were trying to give out to the younger counterparts these days?
That we was lied to, that the streets is fake. The streets it's not even a myth, it's fake. You know what I'm saying? It's to it's to throw you off your game. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to just go get a job and just work and save money and have good credit and fall in love with a good woman and create businesses and just big back and be boo. Like you just chill out. Just chill out, relax. Everything you want right there in front of your face, you just gotta work hard for it. We don't have to always settle for less and take the fast route. We don't always have to knock on the prison doors. How much more Rico acts do we gotta see? You know what I'm saying? Before us, and why we still gonna keep on following the same fucking path? We already see what this gets us. You feel me?
Fact,
So that's
fact.
crazy. We just seen in the last couple years like 10 Rico Act, 10 like YSL, the niggas out here from Dorchester, HOB,
Hmm.
um, you know, mad different Rico acts from Chicago and FBG Duck dying and Von dying and Nipsey and so
Yeah, I mean, it goes on. It goes on. So it doesn't even matter where it's coming from. It, like, just being a person that's trying to change and be different,
what are we
people remember who you were, and that jealousy or envy comes out. They want to take you out, which is unfortunate. I'm glad that you're giving a different aspect of what it is and keeping it real, because a lot of us, we don't throw that out there. We like, yeah, opposition, take it out. Like, yeah, I mean, because of like the way that our upbringing is, and like sticking to certain politics and codes, like the get back is just a get back. But that was very important that you said, is that they lied to us. They faked it. They pinned us against each other so we could do the job for them, because they afraid of us. It's always been that way.
right,
So when we having, yeah, it's cool to have a drill. It's cool to, get spin a block. It's cool to talk about the ops, but it's also cool to tell you, like, yo, love your brother. Like the book said, try to love thy neighbor. What you did for your cousin, gave him that forgiveness. A lot of people, they don't follow the religious. I don't push religion on people, but I do follow myself. And it says in the Bible, I'm not gonna quote verbatim because I don't know the actual scripture, but just paraphrasing, it says that you have to forgive. Like, that's the hard part. You have to forgive someone who murdered. You have to forgive someone who molested, which is fucked up. You have to forgive someone who abused you. And they say it says you have to forgive them 7 times fold.
right,
And that's not something that as humans we can do, have that forgiving heart. So I commend you for even forgiving your cousin, to give him salvation, but also was to free your soul as well.
right,
And that's tough.
right.
That's tough what you did.
That's because I was battling in that cell every single night, twisting and turning, crying, thinking about everything, but thinking about mainly from what am I gonna do with my life? Am I gonna throw it away? Am I gonna because I have options, right? My options were get locked up in the system, move myself around to where I get to where he at, or somewhere around where he at, and make a move on him. But then where does that get me? I'm in jail. That don't help my mom. That don't help my kids. That don't, now we just lost 2 lives. You feel me? For a temporary moment, for a temporary sensation, it's like having sex, right? And producing a baby.
Right.
You can't take that back. Like so that's where I was at with it. Like, bruh, am I really about to throw my life away for this, nigga? Like, and it took everything in my life not to, and then not to wake up every day and choose to be happy. But that's a different process, right? Every single
Hmm.
day is hard because back, it ain't been a year yet. A year's coming up, and like the 14th of this month, a year's coming up.
Hmm.
So getting into an argument with somebody is hard because
Yes.
I got so much rage. The first thing that's gonna come out my mouth is I'm gonna kill you. Like so I
Hmm.
just need to just chill and relax. Like it took me a long time of just staying in the house, going to counseling, talking to therapists, getting Seroquel so that I can, you know what I'm saying, so that I don't go get out of control with my rage and going to therapy. I do that still
Yeah.
to this day. So I'm encouraging anybody out there that's seeing this. If you need help, go see a professional. Don't talk to your homie, the nigga on the block that ain't never went nowhere with a 40. Don't talk to these people. Like, talk to a person that dedicated their life and went to school and dedicate their days to being a mental health therapist and a counselor. And they might clock out after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever, and you can't call their phone or whatever. But just trust the process, trust yourself, and trust the process.
Right.
I
Amen.
mean,
Which is why I became a mental health professional. Being a mental health specialist, like I get brothers and sisters that they come from all walks of life: Hispanics, Caucasians, blacks, Mexicans, you name it, and they come from us. And it's very important that when you are talking to these professionals, you understand that there's no judgment. It's a safe haven. You can get it off without feeling like, oh God, like I'm telling a homie all my business. Like it's actually like you just having a conversation with someone. I think it's very important when you are seeking help that is someone that could be relatable,
right.
someone that can understand. I'm not saying that they have to come from the gutter, they have to come from the town, but it does influence and it does help when they understand what poverty is, understand what death is, and what broken homes is, police brutality, or like being in organizations and brotherhoods and
Yeah,
sisterhoods.
just
However, if you understand it,
people and be having humane conversations. I,
hmm
yo, the older I get, me and my boys, I like our conversations because they more real. They more on
yeah,
the level of not anger. My boy was mad at me the other day, but he called me and he broke it down for me. Like, bro, this is why I'm upset with you, and I wish that you would just stop doing things like this, so that so that we can maintain respect for one another. And I was like, and I had to just listen because my first thing was just like, bro, what you mean? I just listen.
right,
Like,
mm,
you know what, bro? I appreciate you for telling me that because now I understand you better. And and he was like, I appreciate you for listening, but this the level of conversation. This how I know we 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 at that level of one. It's respect. We got respect and loyalty, trust and love for one another,
hmm
and that's how. Those are the stages on how I base things. If you
I
can't
love that.
respect me, then I can't respect you. You can't
I
respect
love
me,
that
I
point.
can't love you. If you respect me, I can't be loyal to you. If it ain't no loyalty, then there's no trust. You can't. If I can't be loyal to you, then you can't trust me. And if you
Right.
can't trust me, then we can't never get to love. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I base things off of respect, loyalty, trust, and then love. Love is last for me. Even though I love, I'm a loving being, but I'd rather have respect
And
and love.
I love the direction that you're going because I had this conversation with someone the other day, and we all recognize that hurt people, right?
Right,
But there's another side that hurt people also heal people. We gotta get into the mindset of understanding that too, because experience comes from pain. I say that a lot, but they hurt people, but they also can heal. So someone who's been hurt, they can tell you like, "Yo, I've been down this road." If you really listen clearly, they can give you the science to getting out of it.
right.
And I'm recognizing very quickly you one of those brothers who like you use your hurt to help heal,
I
and
literally
that's what we need.
I literally wrote a poem this morning called "You Ain't Felt Pain Like This."
Mhm.
About exactly that, about how I've been through so much hurt that it qualifies me to um speak on it from a certain perspective that'll help people.
Right. Um, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I saw in the comments that someone said, everyone out here has all of these, um, clinical advice, and I don't see any certifications or any degrees. I watched all the comments fly back at them, but like what resonated with me is that like there's a lot of people out there like you don't need a degree or certification to give some Jews. All you got to do is have experienced life. Just because like you don't have certain degrees or certain certifications by society, it doesn't give you a voice.
Right.
That's not true. Like I feel like exactly what you said, like pain like that. It's brothers and sisters like us who belong in the field of like
Period.
mental health and
It's,
therapy.
it's
But you don't have to be in an office to do that. I could go outside to the corner store and just talk to the young beloveds and the kinfolk, and that's counseling. That's therapy right there. I just saved their life for like 20 minutes, 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes of them not spinning the block. I love that shit.
facts, facts, and that adds up. And that adds
It
up.
does add up. It does add up because I remember there was a lot of the elders and like the older brothers out there that was getting to it that we trying to mimic their acts and their behaviors. When they telling us to go to school, telling us to get off the block, they ain't know much. They didn't really have a lot of examples themselves. Just that quick moment of just talking to you, trying to tell you differently and not to be like them, that helped.
Right.
They some of them not here right now, but
That made me go to
a
school.
better word.
That made,
Um,
that made me go to school them days. I used to have those days where
mhm,
the OG used to be like, bro, what you out here doing, bro? Like, I'm just trying to get, I got $5 worth of weed.
right,
I'm trying to get my mind right. Me and the homies dropping 555 on a little 15 cent real quick.
right. The 5-5. Come
And
on,
me like the OG, like, here, bro, y'all take this, save y'all money, you know what I'm saying, and go to
mhm,
school, bro. Like, what you doing out here?
right,
But
right.
like I said, I come from '91. That's how the OGs was. If you was a basketball player, they would encourage that. If you did karate, went to the community center, then they would encourage that. That didn't mean that you couldn't be uh, uh, from the hood or a blood or a crip or whatever. You just you, and you get more praise for embracing who you was back then. Nowadays, everybody be the same. Everybody want to be what they think is gangster, right?
Right.
Then they too scared to stand out, too scared to do their own thing because they want to seek validation from everybody else.
Mhm,
Back in the day, it was easier to just shit. I remember I did all those things. I did karate. I went to the community center and played foosball, basketball, went swimming, and all of that. Still got into my squabbles. Still got into my fights. Still went to after school programs. BSU, Black Student Union. It wasn't until like I really got into high school where I really started getting into the streets. What led me into the streets really was just being a natural born hustler and selling my music. I was
mhm,
I I was outside going to like Best Buy, going to get CDs and burning up my music on the CDs and going outside selling it and meeting all of the hustlers and things like that. And they seen that I had the ability to hustle and then just started breaking down the weed business and stuff to me like that and boom boom. So that's what led me into the streets with just hustling my own music, being at a young age, being upset because of the things that I seen in my household. I was born in Haverhill, Massachusetts, but I was raised in Sacramento, California, which was hard. My mother, I love her, but she didn't choose, the most stand up men. So the shit that I was seeing in my house before I left to school in the morning and everything like that is what fueled my fire. And then, can't talk about it. Don't
mhm.
let them white people at school, da 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 da. Like you feel me? So again, for a long time, I just had to suppress my rage. I couldn't talk about it. So as I'm older now, I'm big on talking, but it took me a while to get out of the mindset of I'm grown, ain't nobody gonna tell me shit.
Right.
And I,
That part.
now I learned to listen and listen to learn.
Mhm. Like I think just like in the culture itself, us darker descent brothers and sisters, we are taught like don't be saying shit at school, because then you gonna get us a case and have the peoples come and take your ass. Then what? And then like yes, having split families, mom over here, dad over here, or absent dad or absent mom, and you have these poor examples of steps. That's what they are, step parents or whatever they want to be. And that you see your parent being faced with abuse and domestic violence or being taken advantage of, like that takes a toll on like your mental health as well.
Fucking man.
Makes you step up, makes you grow up a little faster than what you tended to. We even got to give the parents a break, because I know that they navigating through life too. They don't know any better, but it's like once you get a certain age, now you gotta be able to understand that it's your turn.
Right.
Like fuck what I just went through. Yeah, that's there. That trauma's gonna be there, but I gotta do what's better to make sure I maintain my substance and my mindset, let go for my soul, for these kids, for these youngins, for my life. I love that. You said something about school. Are you thinking about furthering your education, or are you thinking about utilizing the music and becoming more of an entrepreneur? Which way we going?
Um, it's a battle.
Okay.
The more I let go of that boy in me and walking into the man, I'm 33 years old, what
Hmm.
they will call Christ consciousness now, right? So
Yes.
I started his ministry at 33. So I'm right on the mark, right? And that's a big thing in me because I never graduated from shit. And
Mhm.
I want to feel what that feels like. I mean, so I just want more in life, and that's where I'm at. And I believe that That's what's driving me right now. I believe that that's my whole drive, is that I just want more for myself. I want to leave behind a great legacy and empire for my children. So, and that's a part of that, right? Because when it comes to getting certain jobs, like even when I'm on Indeed right now, that's a qualification that I don't have, that's stopping me, preventing me from getting a certain pay rate. I could just use entrepreneurship in music, but like, I want to teach my kids that education is important too.
Yes.
I'm also very big on teaching them knowledge of self, who they are. You know what I'm saying? Black folk. That's one thing that I understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand that I'm a original man. I'm an Asiatic black man, and I want my kids to know that you know what I'm saying, we Asiatic, we indigenous, we original, we the one, we him, and God love us. We God's children. That's where I'm at now. Just teaching my babies about God and the God within them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amen.
I feel
Before we start wrapping up,
I feel like that's
let's
I
let's let's talk about your name though. Let's talk about your name. That's a powerful name. So how did you come up with that? Like what's the meaning of it?
okay. Um, when I was growing up, one of my first rap names that like I really started going by and taking serious was Natural Disaster, and
Mm-hmm.
powers in names. So, and that's like where my mentality was. Everything I was involved in, I would just find some way to just fuck it up, even if it was going good. I was just Natural Disaster, indeed, the
Thanks.
Manian Devil. You know what I'm saying? My whole persona then was, I just used to love tornadoes and just damage, and again, that just comes from the pain. You know what I'm saying? I just love tornadoes. I was learning about them in science class, how it's created and all of this stuff, and I just like kind of fell in love with the concept, and
Mm-hmm.
there's and spinning and doing damage. And I was also like a little battle dancer too. I was a street dancer.
Hey, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying, that was my persona, Natural Disaster. I used to do a lot of spins, and then as I got older, the Natural Disaster turned into Natural Pharaoh, because I started becoming more aware of myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pharaoh, I'm a king, and I started having that type of mindset, right? Then I moved here and I ran into the five percenters. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Islamic. So when I ran into the five percenters, they taught me knowledge of self. And then
Right.
then I learned the 120, and then they taught me the alphabet. Then that's when it hit me. I'm S7. S7 means Savior God. Once you become 5%, then you take on a name of God or one of His attributes. Because when we do things, I'm just doing things in the name of God. You feel me? I'm S7. I am an expression of God. It's like we all are expressions of God. God lives within side of each and every one of us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm just trying to show my greatness, you know what I'm saying? I'm recognizing the God within me. So that's when S7 come in. Zeus is the God of all God when it comes down to Greek mythology. So either way, I'm a God. I'm S7 Zeus.
Mm-hmm. Breaking it down. See, you gotta have the brother behind you, like the 5% of brothers. I know about like two or three. I have one in my backyard too. Like he's always spitting the game to me and giving me the knowledge. For anybody who don't have anybody like that, you need to get in touch. It's a lot of science. It teaches us as young men going into like full adulthood or already there. It does give you a lot more discipline. So like that's crazy you breaking that down. I'm like, wow, this guy's like he's shooting some shit now. Like, okay. As we wrapping in, you got I know these brothers and sisters who catch this, they're gonna get a lot of information from you. You have so many different talents. The way you speak, like you can tell that, there's a lot of like journey in you. And you gonna keep going. So what do we got in store? Like, what projects we looking for from you? And give someone out there some positive affirmations that like want to continue their music or just going through life and they need something to keep them going.
Man, life is your canvas. Look at life as an empty canvas, and you're the painter, and it's up to you to make the whatever picture that you want happen. music is not just it for me. Music is just one lane for me. So what I'm starting to do now is write books. Right, I'm writing a sci-fi adventure book called The Black Box, about this kid named Malik Carter who walks into a bookstore and he discovers a black box with ancient artifacts and hieroglyphs on it, and it's glowing. He takes the box home, he opens it, he starts to read the scrolls and figures out that he comes from a lineage of ancient pharaohs. And then I don't want to talk about that too much, but so start to work on your gifts. If it's drawing, if it's acting, if it's singing, if it's rapping, if it's doing hair, if it's cooking, if it's making clothes, if it's blogging, creating content, creating skits or whatever you're doing, when you get home from work and you get home, or if you just have free time because you're not at work or you're not at school, you need to be working on your innermost gifts, the gifts that you have that are free to you, but that's gonna make you millions. Because
Amen.
that's your spiritual gift. That's your purpose. That's what you was born to do, right? Everything else in this world is a distraction. And I'm not saying that it's bad to work. It's good for every human being to work. It's good for every human being to have trial and challenges, because that's what makes us stronger. But if
Amen.
you're still here and you looking at it from a perspective of you looking for sympathy and people to empathize with you, nah. We Half the people I talk to and they tell me all the shit they've been through, I look at them like they some of the strongest people I ever talked to. So hold your chin up, put your helmet on, your chin strap on, your knee pads on, and let's go.
Right. Let's go. There you have it. Brother man, before we end this, do you got any projects that we need to look out for that's up and coming?
Right now, I'm just writing a whole bunch of music. I really just want to fly to LA and work with this DJ called DJ Flip with the 808 Cartel. So I'm just in fundraising mode and just writing a bunch of music. I just came home like 2 months ago and just got off probation, so I'm totally free from the system. So right now I'm pushing my Every Man for Himself EP, the one you see, because I didn't have
Yeah.
time to push that last year when I recorded it. I just put it out and then I had to go turn myself in. Then I had to take care of my mom's, and now I have the time to put some campaign and promotion behind that project. So
Mhm.
that's the focus right now. Every Man for Himself EP out right now on YouTube only exclusively. This is going to be my last free project. Everything else here is going on iTunes and all platforms. So you can just expect nothing but greatness from me. Videos, skits, content. Like, I'm just building. All 2025, I'm just building. So 2026, really, I'm going to come out. But 2025, really just dropping singles here and there, a few videos, some features and things like that. So just to keep my name out there and fresh and just to promote, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, man, just tune in. S7 Zeus, I got a heavy catalog on YouTube. I got plenty singles, features, projects out, and I got a heavy catalog. You're gonna find something that you rock with. Trust me.
You're right. Yeah. You got something for everyone. You did. You do got something. I want to say thank you, brother. It was definitely a pleasure to have you up here. I was very excited. I learned so much. Like, I was expecting to come up here and just talk about music, but we started shooting a GIF, and like, I love that. So I'm gonna wrap this. That concludes another episode of Let's Talk About It. Don't forget you can tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and also around the platforms who support podcasts. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see ya. I miss you. Peace.
Peace.